Luffy versus Doflamingo, the clash between two Conqueror's Haki users. The final fight of this arc has been postponed for another time. Sorry about that. I mean, I'm not Oda. I can't control what he does, but, I mean, we'll see. I'm tired of this fight being postponed. I thought we were actually going to get it. I thought we were going to see Gear 4. Because this morning I looked at the chapter. I looked up chapter, 782. And someone said that, oh, new mode revealed. I'm like, oh shit, it's happening. It didn't. But instead we got a lot of cool information, some stuff that I really want to talk about right now, and it actually pertains to Treble. I didn't think I would find Treble that interesting, but he has piqued my interest quite a bit when it comes to his backstory, as well as Doflamingo's backstory. Now, Treble, again, very interesting in a sense of his past and his previous occupation, because I'm thinking that he is a part of the world government, or was a part of it. Like, perhaps he was an agent, because he knows a lot of shit, and it's kind of like, what? He knows about, Conqueror's Haki, and, how they're always deemed to be successful and whatnot, so Treble used that. And, he basically groomed Doflamingo to get him to the top, because, I mean, he gave him the pistol, he gave him a devil fruit, the devil fruit that he has right now, of course. So, I mean, how does Treble have all these things? So, I'm guessing he had to have been a world government agent, because he is, the attire that he had in that flashback, looks like it was a part of the world government. So, I'm very interested to see where that goes. We go back to Doflamingo and Luffy. Luffy brings the left hook of justice, even though it's meant to be the right hook, the right hook of America, or something like that. The right wing. Ow, club. Hit the fan. Ow. Ow. My bones are fragile. Now, Luffy does something known as the Eagle Bazooka, which I'm not sure if that's a translation error or not. I mean, I thought it was supposed to be a Hawk Bazooka. However, there was no fire, okay? There was no fire on that rubbery arm, so I'm assuming it was just a regular bazooka, or perhaps even a jet bazooka. I have no idea. Now, Doflamingo, he delivers with an athlete thread, was it? It was his athlete thread. It's just, a basic thread kick. Luffy blocks it with armament haki, and he manages to not look scathed at all. He lets out a little but I mean, that's not really gonna do anything, and he lands in Treble's crotch. That's gonna sound really weird if you have not read this chapter, but if you have not read this chapter, then what the fuck are you doing on this video? Jesus Christ. Treble is about to get hit by Luffy, but it goes right through him. Not through him necessarily, but through his jacket. Now, that's very interesting, because, Treble has like this little snark reply after Luffy says, "What the hell? I thought I was supposed to punch you with arm and haki, because you're a Logia, are you not?" And Treble's like, I'm a Logia, what? No, he literally said that, and so is Treble not a Logia? I mean, this could lead to many different things. Perhaps he's someone like Mr. 3, who is able to, create wax and whatnot, but he himself is not a Logia. Maybe Treble is along the same lines of that, he's just, he's feasible, or rather, you can not phase through him. He has a physical fucking body. No Logia, okay? Let's just put it like that. And maybe he can just create mucus, and he has some kind of mucus jacket. I'm not really too sure. That's very interesting when you think about it, because we're all under the assumption that Treble was a Logia, and this is still very suspicious, because didn't he get cut by Usopp's shuriken? But maybe he uses thin body, which we find out he has a thin-ass body at the end of the chapter, and maybe he was able to like squirm himself in a way where he wouldn't get cut. So I mean, that's very interesting, and I want to find out more about Treble. Like, I didn't think I would want to find out more about goddamn Treble. okay? Now, I want to bring up one thing. Trable says something along the lines of, do not belittle the top executives when, you know, Law shits on them. Because, you know, Law says, if I'm in the heart seat, then I'd be put in the same league as those buffoons. And Law has a point. These executives aren't shit. I mean, look at Diamante. He's the one who got shit on the fastest. Pika was just way too overhyped, in my opinion. Well, overhyped, but I guess by the series itself, because of all the times that Zoro had to fight him. But in the end, he didn't really do much at all. I mean, he did alter the landscape and whatnot, but he didn't do shit. But Trable, I mean, he makes up for having, you know, a somewhat interesting background, you know, with the whole potential of being a world government agent, or a former one at that. I just want to bring up again that, you know, Trable, he basically groomed Doflamingo in a sense. I mean, the top executives, including Diamante, Virgo, and Pika, they were all just, you know, his buddies. They were all buddy and stuff like that. And if anyone did him wrong, they would just kill him. I mean, they killed a guy for beating him up, or rather, a couple people beat him up, I guess. And they burned down the whole town just because he fell. Law is still able to use Room. As if his stamina wasn't limitless enough already, he's able to use his severed arm, put his sword, like literally placed his sword into his severed arm, and just cut Trable up. And that was actually a pretty cool attack. I mean, he just stabbed Trable, and it kind of circulates all the way up to the top of his chest, not his throat. It couldn't be his head. Come on, Law. I mean, One Piece does that a lot, but still, it makes up for that in certain aspects. Now, that attack was called, like, Sturban, which is actually called Deathblade, and I can see why, because that cut Trable up real good, man. I mean, his guts should be pouring out everywhere, but still. And I want to bring up one more thing. He lets out this pig-ya kind of sound. Pig-ya. And I found that very interesting because someone brought up that Trable, when he stepped on the Tontada, they made a sound called pig-ya. Trable, after getting shitted on, made the same exact sound, pig-ya, and the Tontada, I guess they picked up on that. One of them said that they felt kind of uneasy or something. I guess it could be that. Maybe they felt the battle between Luffy and Doflamingo, because Oda does do that a lot, where he kind of just shows what'll happen in future events and then kind of skips back in the past, I guess. I'm not really too sure, but I guess the pig-ya sounds kind of cool, so I'm gonna go with that shit. Trable blows himself up to Kingdom Come in the end of this chapter. So what's gonna happen there? Is Sabo gonna come in there out of nowhere and just absorb the flames? Or is Kinemon gonna come out of nowhere and cut the flames, and, you know, he's gonna wear his Mingo costume, and it's gonna be Mingo versus Mingo. Let's go, man! I don't know. Perhaps, you know, Luffy just beat the shit out of him, or he just passed out before he can do anything. Or maybe just Luffy, well, what am I saying? They blew up. Didn't really blow up, but there's fire everywhere. So perhaps Luffy just blitzed out of there. I don't want Sabo to be there. Because thank God the whole Sabo versus Trable thing is out of the way. Like, he's not fighting Trable. Trable's not that good. I mean, well, he's not on Sabo's level. So, I mean, I'm assuming that Sabo is perhaps going to fight CP0, or perhaps a Sabo and Koala combo against CP0, because again, I don't want Sabo to come in there and save Luffy. My knight in shining armor, Sabo! Although, why anyone would want to be saved by Sabo? He's the best. But then again, Luffy, he should be able to fight Doflamingo by himself, with a little help from Law. And by the way, I do like that Law is still in the fight, even after getting completely destroyed. Now, again, I want to see Sabo fight CP0, because, again, it'll further demonstrate that Sabo is a force to be reckoned with, and he is, I'm guessing, up there on a high tier with the One Piece verse. Top tier? Not really sure, because then we're talking about emperors, and once you go into emperors, that's a whole nother discussion. So, I mean, I want to see what CP0 is doing. They haven't really been doing anything in this arc, so, I mean, I want to see what's going on with them. And if it means a fight with Sabo and CP0, then I think that'd be pretty cool. So overall, this was, you know, a pretty good chapter. We got some cool fight scenes with Doflamingo and Luffy in the beginning. We got some interesting theories on what Treble's ability actually is, what his background is, and we got some, you know, cool little stuff at the end with, you know, Treble being skinny and whatnot. So, I mean, is he a paramecia or what? Could he just have... I'm thinking he's just a paramecia. I mean, I don't want to overanalyze it because I'm going to look like an idiot, but I'll just keep it at that. So, overall, it was okay or pretty good. And I'll see you guys next week.